Hey there guys, it's Rick here. Hope you're all doing extremely well out there. I know I am. Got a bit of a cold. If you saw my last video, you'll know it's absolutely freezing in the UK. We're just getting over it now. But I caught a bit of a cold, so pity me. Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to continue where we left off. If you go back to the previous video that I uploaded, the unlocking the fretboard and talking about horizontal arpeggios. So we're playing horizontally on the fretboard and learning shapes to help us play sort of areas of the fretboard that we would usually not sort of find ourselves in. And it's extremely useful doing this to help you to unlock the fretboard, to get, improve your fretboard knowledge. So the previous video, what we did was we talked about the major seventh arpeggio. And I hope you guys have been practicing those shapes, because those shapes are extremely important. They're going to be the basis for what we're going to continue to do with these arpeggios. So that is the template upon which all the other arpeggios that we're going to talk about are based. So that's what I'm going to talk about right now. So let's just recap for those guys that didn't actually see the video. So we talked about playing 2-note per string arpeggios, starting here, A major 7, and interval wise we're playing 7th, root, 3rd, 5th. Okay. So instead of staying in the same position and playing vertically, what we do is we move up to the next available shape and do the same thing, 2 notes per string, in order, 1, 3, 5, 7. So that's position number 2. This is number 1, that's number 2, that's number 3, okay, that's number 4. So you have to memorize these, because like I said, this is the template upon which all the other shapes are built. So all we have to do is make some simple, slight alterations in order to create some different 7th arpeggios, and that's what we're going to do. Today we're going to look at dominant 7th arpeggios. The formula for any dominant 7th arpeggio is 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Okay. Now, one of the biggest things that guitarists sort of get flustered with, and I know I used to do it, sometimes still do, you kind of have to remind myself not to, overthink things, is that when you think of different arpeggios and different chord types and everything, you think that you have so much to learn, so many different, arpeggio shapes and scales and chords to learn. But if you simplify your thinking and use the major as a template, that's whether it's a chord or a scale or an arpeggio, use it as a template and view every other scale, every other chord, every other arpeggio as simply an alteration of that template. It makes life a whole lot easier. So we're not doing anything that's completely unrelated. It's all related back to the major scale. So that's the most important thing that I want you to get from what we're doing today. So what we're going to do is take the shape, and again, go back to the previous first video. If you haven't done these shapes, learn those shapes. So, as I said before, the formula for any dominant 7th arpeggio or chord is 1, 3, 5, flat 7. So all we have to do is take the 7th degree. We're going to start in first position here, lower it. That's simple. Flat 7, 1, 3, 5. And there we have our shape for the first position. So we can go ahead and play it in this fashion. I'm going to take everything really, really slowly in these lessons. So I really want you to understand how important everything is, and I want you to digest everything properly. So that's position 1. But we're just going to do it across the 6th and 5th strings. Okay, good. Let's move it up to, we're in root position, so we're position number 2 now. So we have, this was our major 7th, so we got root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. All you do is flatten that little fella. There we go. That's position number 2. So again, always relate it back to the major shape. Okay, so now we can move on to position number 3. We're going to start here at fret 9 of the E. The major 7 was, so 3, 5, 7, 1. Okay, intervals those are. So we flatten the 7th. There we go. That's our shape number 3. Shape number 4 for the major 7 was this. 5th, 7th, flatten that, and we've got our position number 4. Okay, so we have position number 1, nice and slowly. Position number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Okay, so those are all of the positions, and again, it's not necessarily, it's important to memorize them obviously, but again, just relate them to the major scale shapes and just alter the 7th. It literally is that easy. You're going to have to practice some of these shapes because some of them are a bit awkward, like this one here. It's a bit of a stretch, but nothing too challenging. So just try and find out fingerings that work for you. You know, everybody's different regarding, you know, fingerings for scales and arpeggios. So just try and discover which works for you and which flows best for you. So we have all of our shapes here. So I'll play through each one of them on every string. So position 1. Okay, position 2. Position 3. And finally position 4. Oops, shit. Make sure you get that note right. Okay, again, make sure you choose the fingering that's comfortable for you. So those are all our shapes. So that's the dominant 7th arpeggio played in a horizontal fashion. So remember in the previous video as well, if you want to play it in a vertical fashion, a great way to do it is by playing the shapes backwards. So for the major 7 shape arpeggio that we had, we did position 1, then move back to position 4, and then back to position 3. So we can connect them all that way. We can do the same with the dominant 7th. So position 1, back to position 4, position 3. Okay, we can do that all the way up. So if we start on position 1, we go back to, position 2, I mean. We can go back to position 1, position 4. See, so it goes backwards rather than 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's really, really easy when you think of it in this way. If you simplify your thinking, it really helps you to unlock the fretboard. You know, and it's important to not just play vertically or not just play horizontally. You got to do approach it in as many different ways as possible, and that will really help you to see the fretboard in a completely different way. And it's important to connect everything together. So even if you're playing horizontally, you know, it's important to be able to play a chord in whatever position that you're playing, you know, that relates to the arpeggio that you're playing. So that's really, really important. So as I said before, you can take any position. So where were we here? Position 3. So if we start here, we move back to position 2. Oh, sorry. Bollocks, messed that up. So if we go, so carrying on from what I was saying before, here's position 3. So we move back to position 2, position 1, and so on. Where were we? Position 4, position 3, position 2. It really is extremely easy when you think of it like that in terms of those positions and sort of where they sit on the fretboard. So those are our dominant arpeggios. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload another video. I'm going to go through the five important 7th arpeggios that we can play horizontally that really sort of opened up the fretboard for me. So I'm going to share those with you. The next video that I'm going to upload will be the minor 7th because we have 2 alterations there. But I'll discuss that in the next video. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Just a quick heads up, I'm actually doing more Skype lessons now, so I'll leave a link in the description box below if you want to hook up with me on Skype while the slots are available, that is. Also, if you want to support what I do, you can head onto my website, link in description, and purchase lessons from my website. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this lesson and stay tuned very soon for the next one on the minor 7th horizontal arpeggios coming very soon. Cheers, guys.